This is a route taken by few Australian travellers. An otherworldly landscape linking Afghanistan's cities and towns.
Every moment I was like, I hope I remember this, I hope I remember this, and I better not forget this, and this is so amazing.
Imogen and Aaron left Australia last year with only a vague plan in mind.
We bought some farmer bikes and did a few thousand kilometres in Vietnam and then flew to Thailand to buy these bikes. And I guess it was a bit of a joke that we thought, let's ride across the world. And here we are now in Kazakhstan, 35,000 kilometres later.
Yeah.
It's an adventure that's taken them through India, Nepal, Pakistan and Afghanistan, a country they hadn't previously dreamed of exploring.
Talking to people in the country and talking to people that have gone and seeing like all of the rich history that the country has and how it's recovering after the recent war as well. It's something that we thought we really wanted to do while we had the opportunity.
Most Australian tourists travel to Indonesia, New Zealand and the USA. But despite the warnings, the Taliban says more Westerners are choosing Afghanistan. Untamed Borders has run tours in the country since 2008.
In 2023, I think we had the most number of tourists. There were more people going to Afghanistan last year in general. There's just a larger community of people that want to travel to places that maybe 20 years ago could be considered to be completely off limits.
At least 5,000 people visited Afghanistan last year, an increase of 120% on 2022.
On the one hand, the Taliban are really invested and seek some form of legitimacy and normalization of the status quo. On the other hand, there is the Taliban's need, stated and quite explicit, for economic self-reliance and self-sufficiency.
Imogen and Aaron say the experience surpassed their expectations.
I got tired looking around and trying to stop and take it all in because it's just, as Imi said, it's just so vast. Like one day you're going over snow-capped mountain peaks, and the next day you're through a sand desert. It's absolutely incredible.
There was no time that I felt particularly unsafe, definitely no more unsafe than in any other country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had poor experiences in other countries where I felt a lot more unsafe than I did in Afghanistan.
The Australian government's Smart Traveller website warns of a very high threat of terrorism and kidnapping, saying their ability to provide assistance is severely limited. Many of Afghanistan's 40 million people live in poverty. The situation is worst for girls and women, who have suffered severe restrictions on their movement, study and work since the Taliban returned to power in 2021.
It was very hard for me to decide to leave because I had everything of mine in Afghanistan, like, you know, my job, my university. I had an organization together with 10 of my friends for female empowerment.
Fatima Hadari used to guide tourists in Afghanistan, but had to leave when the Taliban took control. She now provides virtual tours from afar. Her feelings on travellers visiting her country now are complex.
It's good for, you know, Afghanistan, for, you know, tourists to go there, to see Afghanistan, to see the people, to see how life is going there. But I oppose with, like, you know, they promote Taliban in Afghanistan. They say, like, you know, how safe Afghanistan is, you know, how Taliban keep everything safe.
An attack last month has brought the risks into focus. Joe McDowell had travelled well-worn destinations before purchasing a tour to the country.
It reminded me very much of Kashmir in the north of India, and that was one of the areas that I liked the most. The unanimous response to the comment, "I'm going to Afghanistan," was pretty much, "Why are you going and are you crazy?"
His group spent their first day touring Kabul mosques and markets, rubbing shoulders with the locals. On day 2, they wound their way to Bamyan. Inside this market, the tour turned deadly. A gunman opened fire on the travellers.
And as I was running away, I felt something slap my ass. So I rolled under the car that I was standing next to. It was at that point that I'd had a few seconds for the brain to catch up, But I sort of felt like I've got no more moves here. I'm trapped, I'm stuck.
6 people were killed in the terror attack later claimed by Islamic State. Joe escaped with a gunshot wound and after a stay in hospital, returned home to Australia. The event was physically and emotionally traumatic, but he hasn't ruled out a return.
So once the memories start to fade and if they fade, and the pain fades then, and you watch the political situation there and nothing happens, yeah, maybe, but I can't answer that. The weird weekends are on the back burner at the moment. Yeah, Europe and New Zealand for me for the next couple of months.
Aaron and Imogen's journey reinforced to them why so many of us travel in the first place: connection.
Whoever is in control of Afghanistan, that doesn't encompass the whole population. Not everyone is out to push these radical ideas on people. There's a whole group of people, women and children and fathers, husbands, that just want to be Afghani and just want to show that their culture is one of the best in the world.